Hello there, and welcome to the first proper video on this channel, longer than 3 minutes long, actually talking about a proper topic that I just find quite interesting. So if you've seen over the last few days, you might have noticed something called the European Super League. It came up massive, everyone was pissed off in football, and then it just went down again. And that's because it all disappeared. There was a notice, I think the main people who put the money in has actually stopped now. So that's actually quite a good side. So that means European Super League, at least for now, because Perez has said they're trying to look at different aspects. Juventus and Barcelona have came out because they're all bankrupt, because they don't know how to run a club. That's why you have the biggest players. You sell the biggest players. You got to make profit. Anyway, I'm not going to bother pretending I know how to run an actual football club. But basically, they started to, now it's disappeared. The rumours the next day pretty much came out of a British Super League. And we've got on TalkSport here, I've just got on the side here, it's pretty much saying a new British Super League is reportedly in the works with Celtic and Rangers to join a reformed 18-team Premier League. 18 teams, and then you're taking out quite a lot of teams, and you're adding 2 new teams as well, Celtic and Rangers. I don't like the idea. I really, really don't like the idea. And that's purely because you're putting 2 teams. Yes, they're the top of the Scottish Premier League right now, but you just put them straight in. I don't think Swansea and Cardiff got the same treatment. I'm fairly certain Swansea and Cardiff had to start from the bottom and work your way up. If you're going to enter the actual pyramid, then work your way up. There's no point you just going, oh yeah, this is a great idea, I'm going to join straight away. It doesn't make sense. And one of the parts is, especially Celtic and Rangers, firstly, the expense to get to these places for Premier League teams. Obviously, Premier League teams, rich boys. Let's go with this. I live in Brighton. We're in the Premier League. We're the right bottom of the South Coast. Imagine away fans going from the South Coast all the way to Scotland. And watch that be like a 12:30 kickoff. Like, it doesn't really make sense, especially in a fan's perspective, to be able to travel to these teams twice a year. I'm guessing it's only Celtic and Rangers. That's what they've said. So I don't think you can see like Aberdeen or any of the other clubs come in, which is quite surprising. Like, why would you do that? And that's why I don't like the aspect of it's just these 2 teams, because oh yeah, they've done so great in Scotland, so they're going to do great in the Premier League. And it's been the whole argument for such a long time as well, is that pretty much Celtic and Rangers, they join the Premier League and they're going to get the Champions League spots. I don't think so, because I think in terms of the 2 leagues, there's so much more money in the Premier League than there is in the Scottish Premier League. It's not called the Scottish League. Whatever the fuck that league's called. There's so much more money in the Premier League that you just see that there will be more teams in the Premier League fighting for Champions League. I don't see them surviving that well. They do have a lot of good players. The problem is, and even if you look at this season now, you got Leicester and West Ham fighting for it. They're still rich clubs. They're still richer than rest of the Premier League, some Spanish, some German. They're really quite rich clubs still, because the league is so profitable. And they're looking at different ways, I guess, to incorporate the Scottish teams. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, we've got Welsh teams. We've got Swansea and Cardiff, and I think Wrexham are in the national leagues right now. I'm not fully certain of that. But then, that makes no sense why just put in the leagues. What would make more sense is, let's be honest, maybe, I would say keep the FA Cup is. FA Cup is so perfect as it is. The Capital One Cup, no one cares. No one cares about the Secondary Cup, because it's changed names so many times. It'll stop, what was it called? It was the Coca-Cola Cup. It's changed names pretty much all the time. But that's all due to leagues. And that's due to anyone in from League 2 to the Premier League. Why don't we then add the first division of Scotland? Then again, you're making teams who are much poorer. So League 2 and League 1 are still much poorer compared to the other teams. They're having to make such a long journey. But if you want to make it properly, I would say make the Capital One Cup the British Cup, or the UK Cup. You know, make it actually go around Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland if you really want to throw more teams into it. But at least that can actually make it something a bit better, and it make it such a more exciting competitions. in the lower rounds, because it'd be quite interesting to see how far Celtic and Rangers get. How far we could see, for example, a small team in Northern Ireland ends up getting to the Wembley. That would be insane. I don't think they would get that far though, because there's so much money, especially in the top 6 teams. The teams that should get punished, bear in mind how much they had involved in the Europa Super League, they're going to still win. And the money they put in is still so much better than what they'll ever put in any other league in the UK. It doesn't really make sense. Like, I personally don't understand the sign of putting them in there. It's one of those. I mean, I would love to know your opinion down below. Please do leave what you think will work best. Because as much as they do seem good, I'm going to actually open the article while I'm on here, because it is quite interesting how they do it. Apparently, Boris Johnson's quite on the idea as well, but Boris Johnson's a twat and no one cares about him. But it's literally so there could also be a reduction of teams to just 18. I don't like that thought. I don't like the thought of the 18. I can't remember. Is it 2024? We're proper not even cutting this out. Lovely stuff. Is it 2020? It's 20 teams. So you're losing 2 teams. So, for example, what that would do, if let's say we do right at the bottom, that takes away Sheffield United, well, they're already off, West Brom, so that's 2 gone, and it's 18. But here's the thing, obviously, if you're adding those 2 teams, then that means they'll remove another 2. So that's Fulham and Burnley. So you get 16 teams in England, and then you get the 2 Scottish ones in. So how would that work? So that would make, I'm guessing, 18th to 16th the bottom 3. I guess the best phrasing is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Clearly what we see from the Super League was that the Spanish teams and Italy are bankrupt because they don't know how to handle money. That's pretty interesting. They're the only teams that haven't actually backed down. I know AC and Inter did sort of back down, but Juventus didn't back down. Real Madrid. Oh, apologies. I'm having some Coca-Cola at the same time between takes. But, like, the Spanish teams didn't turn down. I think Atletico is the only one that was tempted to. But Real Madrid and Barcelona are still full on. And as Perez kept on mentioning, it's literally the fact of, oh, there's no money. Oh, we don't have much money. That's your side. And the problem, I actually know, it comes into a bigger field because they're mentioning, and it didn't really strike me this would ever get mentioned, from Perez especially, 16 to 24-year-olds don't care about football. Are you shitting me? Have you seen the main big creators on this app? Well, not on the app, on the website, on YouTube. AFTV, Mark Goldbridge, the United Stad, Thogdad. They're some of the biggest creators are football creators, and they're under the age of 30. No one wants this new changed up football. Football's good as it is. It's 90 minutes of great drama. Do you get shit matches? Yes, you're going to get 0-0s between 2 boring teams. That's sometimes how football has to be played. It has to have those times when it's just quite boring. But there's one aspect, and they'll talk about like changing the rules. Maybe it has to be less than 90 minutes. Maybe do different things. I'm going to take your mind back, and if you remember this specifically, you're an OG. Do you remember the Wembley Cup? The Wembley Cup was great, run by Spencer Owen, an absolute king of the game. We salute him. And he had a great idea. It was YouTubers, and then it kept on evolving each year, brought fans in, brought legends in. But the latest incarnation, about a couple of years ago, must have been 2019 or 2018, was he got 4 teams, they played semi-finals. It was like 30 minutes each half. Rolling subs. I like the rolling subs, especially if it's a YouTube event. But it made that tournament. If you watch this, man, so I apologize, but it made that tournament horrific compared to what it was. I understand that due to time and you got to do it, but it doesn't make anyone want to watch more. All it ever did was make players have less time on the pitch. And even if you do that in a professional game as well, you're getting these players who are not going to have enough time to play in the pitch. Or you get these first team players, let's say for argument's sake, they do make it 30 minutes, so an hour altogether. that's usually when the stop happens. Usually an hour mark, you usually hear substitutions happen. That's going to stop now because players can still go then the full 60 minutes. They're going to use subs maybe a bit earlier, and or they're not going to use them all. There's chances you could just have games where there's not going to be any subs at all. It's like when F1 they've got tyres that can last the whole race. It's just one stop. And I'm going right. Okay, one stop. Ooh, it's exciting that those few laps, but it doesn't make it exciting altogether. And then it just struggles to have more people coming in, new talent coming into football. Because less sub opportunities, because less people are getting injured. Because 60 minutes, or even getting injured, but less people get tired out. They don't need to make it as a marathon. The whole idea just blew my mind, and I'm there like, what is happening? What is happening to football? It's one of those horrible things. You don't want it to go bad, but you have a bad feeling. It's just the inevitable now. It's just the inevitable of it coming down. Hopefully it isn't. But I'd love to know your ideas if you have any sort of aspects on it. Feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Same if you have any ideas for topics you'd like me to speak about. Hopefully doing daily if I keep up to my promise. And also make sure to hit that like and subscribe. And I'll see you later.